The Rally of the Tall Pines is legendary not only for extremely difficult early winter weather conditions, but also for high-speed stages with big jumps and tricky spectator spots on well-traveled rural roads. In this, the last rally of the season, championships are on the line and teams will be flat out in the final round of the Canadian Rally Championship on TSN. The Canadian Rally Championship is brought to you by Subaru, confidence in motion, and by Yokohama Tire Canada. At the previous round of the Canadian Rally Championship, the Rocky Mountain Rally, the pressure of the championship coming down to the wire set up a battle with Antoine Lestage and Craig Perry gunning hard for Pat Richard and Rob Fagg of Subaru Team Canada. But Richard found an icy corner early in the rally and rolled, handing the win to Lestage, who won every stage and took the lead in the championship. Hardy Schmidtke took second by the skin of his teeth over Max Riddle. In two-wheel drive, after a 30-year retirement, Taisto Heinonen earned the win over Dave Clark, although Paul Hartle clinched the championship. Now the teams are 3 hours north of Toronto in Bancroft, Ontario, for the 43rd running of the Rally of the Tall Pines. It's fast, it's cold, and it's slippery. The motto of the event is Winter Roads, Summer Ditches. Spectators brave the cold and teams work on their strategies in the Parc Exposé at the start in Le Mable, south of Bancroft. All the top teams know the challenges of this event, and the first 3 drivers on the road all have won this rally before. Pat Richard took first here last year, but he wasn't able to win the championship. And this year, he's focusing on the title for Subaru.
It's going to be difficult, but really we need to try to get a win to help Subaru win the Manufacturers' Championship. So let the chips fall where they may.
He's got his sister, Natalie Richard, back in the co-driver's seat for the first time in 7 years.
I started my rally career, it was with my brother, and we started doing 2 full seasons together, 04, 05, so now we're going old school and back together. A lot of people are really stoked about it.
Last year's champion, Antoine Lestage, again leads coming into this event, having won all but the first rally of the season where his engine failed. He has to finish 6th or better if Richard wins.
Yeah, I'm really happy. It's nice to see so many people here today. We all know Tall Pines is often tricky, but I don't need to win, so we'll try to go steady and think of the big picture and try to win the championship.
The only other driver who has won here before is crazy Leo Urlikik, who is back after sitting out the Western rallies. He's trying out a new Welsh co-driver, Patrick Walsh, and he's got nothing to lose.
I can't wait to hit the stages. The conditions are not too bad for winter. I don't think it's crazy ice, so we're first on the road. We're gonna find out.
Other potential threats for the podium include Dylan Van Wey from Louisiana, Vancouverite Max Riddle, who just narrowly missed 2nd overall at the previous round, Quebecer Steve Hobbs, who finished 2nd at the first rally of the year, and Simon Lausier, who has finished 4th twice already this year with Brian Maxwell. In two-wheel drive, Paul Hartle and Chuck Story have already won the championship, and they're here to have fun, saying this is their last race. But they'll have pressure from Walter and Troutzmandorf in the rear-drive Nissan, the father-daughter team of the Dowells in their Lancer, the lightweight Toyota Echo of Deschamps and Asselin, and the Ford of Kulikowski and Nichols. The 2013 Rally of the Tall Pines will cover 16 challenging stages going well into the night. It's only one day, but it's a very long day. The first stage is the high-speed, high-commitment Upper Hastings stage. Starting out on a long, slippery rally is extremely difficult. You don't know how hard your competitors are pushing, and with Lestage only having to finish in the top 6, he knows not to make a mistake.
And keep left over flat crest, into right 5 plus over crest, keeping brake, left 4 opens, long. And keep left over small crest, into right 5 minus over small crest, long.
Pat Richard has to walk a tightrope since he wants Subarus to fill the top 4 positions to take the manufacturer's title for Subaru, and he knows he can easily be one of those cars, but he might want to push hard enough to win. For his part, Crazy Leo just wants to go out and have fun, and it shows. He's fastest by almost a second a kilometer on the first stage, which is a huge margin over guys like Lestage and Richard. And he wins the second stage, the classic Detlore too. But can he keep it up? Dylan Van Wey is going fast in his first snow event in a four-wheel drive car, taking fourth on the first two stages. And 2009 Ontario Regional Champions Chris Martin and Brian Johnson, despite starting 15th on the road based on their seeding, are suddenly 5th overall on the first two stages in a terrific drive, although Martin is a champion ice racer. And 6th on the second stage are 2010 Quebec Open Class champions Maxime Rochefort and Jérôme Millette, now run by Crazy Leo's technicians at CanJam, and who started 19th. In production four-wheel drive for less modified cars, it's a battle between newly crowned Novice Driver of the Year Jeremy Norris, fast Quebecer Alexandre Ouellette, who won the production championship last year, and Albertan Boris Djordjevic, who with a win here could overhaul Norris for the title. But Norris takes the class win on the first two stages. In two-wheel drive, Andrew Kulikowski in the Ford goes out and beats Martin Walter on both of the first two stages. And Walter's been caught by Corshen in a four-wheel drive Ford at the Detler Bridge. In rally, you don't get to race wheel-to-wheel very often. After two stages, Crazy Leo is living up to his nickname with some crazy speed, winning both stages and holding a 14-second lead over Lestage, who himself has a 16-second lead on Richard. Van Wey and Martin are in a good battle for 5th ahead of the veteran Besner. And 2011 Ontario Regional champs Nick and Kelly Matthews sneak into 8th. In two-wheel drive, Kulikowski is in command over Walter by 27 seconds, while Deschênes, Hartle, and Dowell start duking it out for third spot on the podium. When we come back, it looks like Lestage is going to coast to a championship win, until he coasts to a stop.
No throttle.
Welcome back to the Canadian Rally Championship on TSN. After the first two stages of the Rally of the Tall Pines, Crazy Leo Erlichich leads by a convincing 14 seconds over Antoine Lestage, who only has to finish in the top 6 to guarantee the Drivers' Championship. His rival for that title, Pat Richard, is 16 seconds back in third. The Hastings stages are on an historic road that once was the major artery for mining and industry to access this region of northern Ontario, and it passes nearby ghost towns and abandoned mine sites. A two-lane highway now parallels it, and so the twisting, jumpy Hastings Road is left to locals, weekend cottage dwellers, and 300-horsepower rally cars. Antoine Lestage knows these roads very well, having won the rally 4 times previously, and he's using his expertise and driving at a comfortable pace to get the points he needs for the championship. But no amount of expertise can substitute for a mechanical failure.
And K left 4 plus short over crest. Oh, 50. Okay, what's up?
No gas.
No what?
No throttle.
Lestage has lost all response to the throttle pedal in his car with its modern fly-by-wire system.
Triangle.
And Pat Richard passes Lestage, knowing that this may mean the championship is his. And then, just as suddenly as it stopped working, Lestage's car starts again.
Okay?
Yeah.
You know where you are?
Yeah. Left 6 short over crest. 50, K. Slippy right tightens hard 4 plus.
Lestage loses 5.5 minutes and drops down to 18th overall.
The car just stopped in the stage, and it was, I think, an electrical problem related with the throttle, so we stopped for 5 minutes. I don't even know why. We started twice and it would not go, and then at one point it was going, so we were able to keep going.
Lestage's trouble could be precisely the break that Pat and Natalie Richard need. If the rally stopped right now, Richard would be crowned Drivers' Champion and Subaru would win the manufacturer's title. None of which concerns Crazy Leo. He's out here racing himself, seeing how far he can push himself in his now even more improved CanJam car. He wins stages 3 and 4 and now leads the rally by more than a minute over Pat Richard. After 2 stages, Chris Martin gets reseeded into the top 10 and then goes out and finishes 2nd behind Crazy Leo on stage 3, vaulting him up to 3rd overall after Lestage's trouble. Remember, he was seated 15th. Consistency also pulls American Dylan Van Wey up to 4th overall. He's a 21-year-old architecture student from Louisiana, and he hasn't seen much snow. Max Riddle from Vancouver has crept up to 5th overall with a smooth drive on the tricky ice, although as he shows here, it's always possible to lose control. But he keeps going and makes the stage finish. In two-wheel drive, Martin Walter puts the hammer down on stage 3 to get within 2.5 seconds of Kulikowski. Then on stage 4 moves 5 seconds ahead. Dowell overhauls Deschênes to move into third. Paul Hartle has a flat on the front left and consequently hits the ditch. With the help of friendly spectators, he gets back on the road, although not before being passed by the Dowells. And he elects to change the tire, now getting passed by Kulikowski. He falls to last place. After stage 5, teams will return to service, and although Lestage has clawed his way back up to 14th, it's still not enough to win him the championship. And now he's having other troubles. His team will make a miraculous oil pump and oil pan change at service, and he'll lose no time. But if service had been one stage later, he would have blown his engine and lost any chance at the championship. Back on the stages, Jeremy Norris is leading production four-wheel drive, but his fortune takes a turn for the worse on stage 6.
Jeremy. Oh well.
John, there's nothing I could do.
I know, it was icy.
I tried.
We should get out.
He's half rolled and out of the rally. He's already won the novice title, but now he has to hope that fellow Albertan Djordjevic doesn't win the class here, or else he'll take the title. So Norris is suddenly rooting for Alexandre Ouellette. Crazy Leo continues his dominance and continues winning stages. He's working himself up for an attempt on the World Rally Championship in 2014, so he's here mostly racing himself. Behind him, Lestage is consistently second fastest and has hauled himself back up to 6th, where he has to be to win the Drivers' Championship. But in order to take the manufacturer's title away from Subaru, he still has to get up to 4th. In two-wheel drive, Martin Walter keeps moving ahead of Andrew Kulikowski, and then on stage 8, Kulikowski has a problem. He has a flat that he has to change on the stage, and he loses 7.5 minutes, taking him off the class podium. After 8 stages, Crazy Leo has more than a 2-minute lead on Pat and Natalie Richard. Chris Martin continues to hold third, but he's got to be watching his mirrors for Lestage, who has moved up from 18th back to 6th. Van Wey and Besner round out the frontrunners. In two-wheel drive, Walter and Troutsmandorf now have a comfortable 3.5-minute lead over Jeffrey and Emily Dowell. Deschênes and Asselin hold third. When we come back, having a flat tire is one thing, but having 3 at the same time? Now it's a rally. Welcome back to the Canadian Rally Championship on TSN. With half of the stages complete at the Rally of the Tall Pines, Crazy Leo Erlichich has a comfortable lead, having won all the stages so far. Pat Richard is in second, and at this point could help Subaru win the Manufacturers' Championship if he can hold off the charge from Antoine Lestage. Stage 9 is a massively long 27 kilometers and is extremely difficult, with wide, high-speed roads with big commitment and rough, tight sections that are hard on the cars and the tires. Throughout the day, teams have been having difficulties with tire choice and punctures. The challenge is that you want soft tires and low tire pressures to get the traction, but landing off jumps or touching snowbanks that might be hiding rocks can lead to punctures and lost time. Nobody knows this better than Pat Richard, who is not only a 4-time Canadian champion and 3-time Tall Pines winner with Subaru, but has also been a rally tire distributor. But he's a stickler about weight in the car, so unlike some other teams, carries only 1 spare tire. This strategy has already led to his protege, Max Riddle, retiring by running out of spares while in 5th. On stage 8, just after Riddle's retirement, Richard lands off a jump and has 2 simultaneous flats on the left side of the car. He gets through the stage and puts on a spare and borrows a tire from another competitor. But now he's going into the 27-kilometer stage 9 with no spare at all, which has to be a little stressful when the whole Manufacturers' Championship is on the line. And sure enough, he has a flat on the front left in a rough section, and by the 9th kilometer has to change it. Not for a spare, he's out of spares, but for a rear tire, since the fronts are more important for steering and braking. Natalie Richard has more than a decade of co-driving experience and has won 5 Canadian titles and 9 North American Rally Cups, both with her brother and with Lestage, and she knows how to change a tire.
There's one more.
Pat, give me one.
With the wheel switched from front to back, Pat and Natalie Richard can be on their way again. But between changing the wheel and driving out on the flat rear, they lose 8 minutes and drop to 6th overall, and Lestage is now ahead of them. With Richard's troubles, Chris Martin and Brian Johnson are now up to second overall behind Crazy Leo. Remember, they were seated 15th here. Also way back up are Antoine Lestage and Craig Perry, now running third and back in contention after dropping down to 18th with a throttle problem earlier. Simon Lausier is on another one of his smooth and intelligent drives, and he's in fourth and within shooting distance of the podium. And also way up the order are Maxime Rochefort and Jérôme Millet, running in fifth and ahead of Richard after his trouble. And this is a team that started 19th. In two-wheel drive and as darkness falls, Martin Walter wins the long Egan Creek stage and extends his lead in the class by taking minutes out of all of his main competitors on this important stage. Behind him, the Dowells get a little breathing room with a good run on the 27-kilometer stage and haul away from third place Deschênes and Asselin. But Danny Grant, who has tried 3 times but never finished this rally, beats both Dowell and Deschênes on this stage. And Paul Hartle is back in his element and with no problems beats all those teams, even though he's still in 6th after his trouble. And Kulikowski and Nichols are back after their woes, finishing second in class on the stage. After 10 stages, Crazy Leo has an amazing 5.5-minute lead over Chris Martin, not someone who's used to such lofty heights on the leaderboard. Lestage is back in podium contention and Lausier is knocking on the door. When we come back, no matter how many troubles you've already had on a rally, you should never think that they're over. Welcome back to the Rally of the Tall Pines on TSN. After 10 stages, Crazy Leo Erlichich and Patrick Walsh lead the Rally of the Tall Pines by 5.5 minutes and have won every one of the 10 stages so far, the longest series of stage wins in the whole championship in 2013. Chris Martin and Brian Johnson are up to a sensational second overall, but are looking over their shoulders at a fast-charging Antoine Lestage, now all the way up to third after falling to 18th. Pat Richard and Subaru Team Canada, after suffering a series of 3 flats, are down in 6th. In two-wheel drive, Walter and Troutzmandorf enjoy a 7.5-minute lead over the Dowells, who have a 2-minute cushion to Deschênes and Asselin in the Toyota. The Canadian Rally Championship is brought to you by Subaru. Confidence in motion. The Canadian Rally Championship for drivers and for manufacturers have come down to the wire, and there have already been 2 complete reversals. At first, it looked like Antoine Lestage had both titles wrapped up, but an electrical problem dropped him down the order and apparently out of contention. Suddenly, it looked like Pat Richard might be able to win, but with 3 flats in a row, the tides turned back against Richard, and now it looks as though the Cup may return to Lestage's home in Quebec, if neither team has any more problems. The Tall Pine stages are difficult enough in the day, with high speeds and hazards. But now the teams and the cars are tired, and at night the shadows of the crests dip and weave, and the challenge is double. This is where the Rally of the Tall Pines gets really hard. And for Pat Richard, through no fault of his own, this is where the rally will end.
We had some sort of driveline problem. The center diff jammed up just a few corners back there, and the car just totally came to a stop, and there's nothing I could do. Well, that's the end of the rally for us, and it's too bad. Our championship fight's over.
Despite leading the championship from February to November, Richard won't win it in 2013. Antoine Lestage doesn't know it yet, but he has just become Canadian champion, even if he doesn't finish the rally. It's not the way he would want to win it, but the history books won't care about that. At the front of the pack, things are still plenty exciting. Crazy Leo has extended his lead to over 8 minutes, but now it's over Antoine Lestage after Chris Martin drives for 10 kilometers on a flat and drops to third. Maxime Rochefort is up to a very strong 4th, but with only a 45-second cushion to an increasingly confident Steve Hobbs. And then on stage 12, there's more excitement as both leader Crazy Leo and second overall Lestage have flats. Leo holds first, but finally loses a stage, taken by a strong Steve Hobbs. Lestage, however, drops back to 5th again. And then the unimaginable happens. After winning all but one of the 4 stages with a dominance we've never seen from Leo Erlichich before, on the transit into service he suffers a catastrophic engine failure. With Crazy Leo's retirement and Lestage's flat, Chris Martin leads a national rally for the first time in his career. And Maxime Rochefort is in second. These guys were seated 15th and 19th coming into this rally. And no matter what happens next, they will never start a rally that low in the order again. Perhaps someday, these guys will be the Lestage and Richard of the Canadian Rally Championship. But for now, well, Antoine Lestage does what he does best and wins the final 3 stages of the rally, clawing back 3.5 minutes and only 27 kilometers. At that rate, if the rally had been 13 kilometers longer, he probably would have been able to haul back into first.
Think it's enough?
I don't know, we'll see.
But the rally is only 191 kilometers long, and so Chris Martin and Brian Johnson are able to hold on for an absolutely sensational first national win.
Any thoughts? Oh, it'll be awesome if we get there. Let's see. Wow. Just driving on pins and needles.
Antoine Lestage and Craig Perry take a great second overall after a bunch of problems.
Canadian champion for the 6th time. That sounds okay. Thanks to Craig, thanks to my team, thanks to all my sponsors. It's been a great year. You know, 4 wins out of 6 rallies, so really happy. Very good championship.
And Maxime Rochefort and Jérôme Millet take a terrific 3rd overall after starting 19th.
We did our best, and I think it's pretty good. We're still here. We're stoked. Awesome day. Awesome day.
In 2-wheel drive, Martin Walter and Ferd Troutzmandorf take a deserved win on their home rally.
So we're supposed to win. That's our goal. We're going to win and finish in the top 10. Tell me how we did.
Second in class are the Dowells, and third are Deschênes and Asselin. Chris Martin and Brian Johnson win the Rally of the Tall Pines, undoubtedly assisted by Martin's years of ice racing experience. Antoine Lestage and Craig Perry take a gritty 2nd overall, and Maxime Rochefort and Jérôme Millet take a sensational 3rd. Lestage wins the Drivers' Championship for a 6th time, and Richard ends up a frustrating 2nd. Max Riddle, Richard's protege, takes 3rd. And in 2-wheel drive, Martin Walter and Ferdinand Troutzmandorf win the event by over 11 minutes from Jeremy and Emily Dowell, and Eric Deschênes and Catherine Asselin. Paul Hartle and Chuck Story finish last. But they take the championship over the Dowells and Walter and Troutzmandorf. The 2-wheel drive class is marked by great diversity of cars, a variety of winners, and total sportsmanship. In another great class, Alexandre Ouellette wins production 4-wheel drive, but Jeremy Norris takes the championship, a trophy that will look good on his mantle beside the 2013 Novice Driver of the Year. And after an 8-year streak by Natalie Richard, Lynn Murphy takes the Ladies' Cup, and Chris Martin can hardly believe he won.
Wow. I mean, we're only like the 3rd person this year to win a Canadian rally, and that's just, wow.
Just getting to the finish of the Rally of the Tall Pines is a victory, but for teams tasting the champagne, it's a reward for their ability to walk on a tightrope for 191 tense kilometers, flat out through some of the most challenging roads at breakneck speeds in the worst conditions. These are amongst the best drivers in the world. The Canadian Rally Championship crosses the country over all of its landscapes and puts teams to the ultimate test of endurance and speed in the most exciting motorsport in the world. Tune in next time for all the highlights of the entire championship on TSN.